Brothers and sisters, welcome back to the Behaviour Revolution. My name's Mark, and it's a beautiful afternoon up here on the Atherton Tablelands, and we're about to approach Shabbat, most wonderful day of the week, where we are literally told to do nothing. Relax, chill out, don't do anything. How amazing is that, brothers and sisters? So, if you are new to the Behaviour Revolution, or you've just come across this video, or what is the Behaviour Revolution, let me welcome you. The reason there is a Behaviour Revolution, the reason Yahusha is doing this fresh movement and has put it on our hearts, a few of us a few years ago, is because he wants a certain behaviour from his bride. Because he's perfect and he wants his bride to come to the place where she behaves herself as he would, because he wants to marry a perfect bride. So the Behaviour Revolution believes that this book here is a behavioural manual. It teaches us how to behave. Everything in this book is about behaviour. That's all. It's not to be taken and read by people who don't understand or don't have his spirit, his ruach inside them, because if you do, and you do that, you're not going to understand a word on this page. And that's why you have the state of the world as it is today. That's why you have religion peddling this word for money, doing a completely different behaviour to what's written in here, and teaching all sorts of philosophies and mindsets, and witchcraft and paganism, all sorts of stuff mixed in with this word. This book is not a Bible. It's not a Bible. This book here has not been translated through the Greek, through the Latin, through the German, into English in some bastardized form, as the King James, old original King James is. No, this book has been taken straight from Hebrew through to English, transliterated into English for us. So we don't have to go through all that laborious learning of Hebrew. Who wants to learn Hebrew? You know, Yahusha makes it simple for us. He says he's going to speak to us on the lips of on the mouths of babbling lips in the last days. And we're living in the last days. This is the time of the last days. And he says, all the nations are going to be speaking babble, but I'll still speak to you in the midst of that. So we don't have to go to seminary school and learn how to speak Hebrew and all that madness, brothers and sisters, because he's given us this book here, the BYNV, Besorah of Yahusha, Nazarene version, okay? And this teaches us how to behave. So if you read it and you have his spirit inside you, talking to you while you read the words on the page, you have an amazing understanding and you start seeing him move in your day. The reason I'm making this video tonight, brothers and sisters, is because Christopher Hilton down in Edge Hill has written an amazing article called Hidden Amongst the Wheat. He wrote this a few days ago and I thought it was fantastic. And I've posted it on our Behaviour Revolution Facebook page and the link to our website, so you can follow along if you like while I'm reading. It's called Hidden Amongst the Wheat. Here we go. Breaking away from all worldliness and religion with their pattern of behaviour and traditions is a wonderful relief, isn't it? Breaking away from the world and religion and all its behaviours and traditions, it's a wonderful relief. It is. We get peace, we get rest. It's amazing. True and good behaviour is called the fruit of the ruach. True and good behaviour is called the fruit of the ruach. And it's love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, trustworthiness, gentleness, and self-control. There's 9 fruits there. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, trustworthiness, gentleness, and self-control. Those 9 fruits is what he is training us in, training his bride in. Those 9 fruits don't come naturally. We're not born with those 9 fruits. No way. Look out in the world. Look in religion. Love? No. Joy? No. It's misery out there. Peace? No one's got peace. Patience? Patience is the opposite to violence almost. You know, and the world is such a violent place now. Kindness? Same thing. There's no kindness out there. Goodness? There's nothing good. People say, oh, I'm a good person. No, you're not. No, you can't be a good person without Yahusha's spirit within you. And he's the only good in this earth. Trustworthiness, can't trust anybody. Gentleness and self-control. Nobody can control themselves. These are the 9 fruits that he is training his bride in. And they're called the fruit of the Ruach. His Ruach, after we get immersed in water, his Ruach comes inside our heart and starts speaking to us, chastising us, flogging us, training us in these 9 fruits, so that our behaviour starts to shine. Not the words we speak, not the religious clothing and garb and, hideous crap that they're going with out there. We're not into religion. We don't have any affiliation with religion. Behaviour revolution has nothing to do with religion. Don't want it. We've walked away from it. And that's the other thing I want to tell you before. I'd like you to separate every single person you've ever met from this book. Every single person, whether they be Christian, Catholic, Messianic, Jewish, Nazarene, Seventh-day Adventist, any person you've met, any spiritual, religious experience or encounter you've had with anybody on this earth in your life, separate that from this book, because this book has nothing to do with that. This book is his word, and how other people out in the world have expressed that word to you and the impression they've given you about how Yahusha feels about you, how the Creator feels about you, is wrong, unless it's what this says, unless it's his heart, his feeling towards you. So religion has totally wrecked any reputation that this book might have. So that's why we just shut our mouths now, and that's what this article's about, being hidden, hiding. So we shut our mouths and we're just waiting, and we're listening to Yahusha's voice, just waiting on him, talking to him, listening to his voice all day, every day, and reading this so we understand his mind, his heart. So I'd like you to separate this book from all your religious encounters, because Behaviour Evolution has no affiliation with any religion. We don't want your money. We don't want anything to do with religion. We just say it, drop it in front of you. If you receive it, great. If you walk away from it, fine, no problem with us, it's fine, okay? So that's how Yahusha is moving, individually, one by one, all across the world. So if you are alone, if you are isolated, if you've been separated, if spouses, if children, if friends, if everybody, assemblies have split from you and you are alone, that is Yahusha's plan for you. To set you apart unto himself so that he can get your attention, so that he can talk to you and reason with you and train you in his way. Yeah? To be set apart. We did a study about being set apart, the severing, cutting you away from the world, from religion, from everything. It's agony being cut off from all the things that we desire. But he does it, and after you go through the process, on the other side of it, there is great joy, intoxicating joy. You're so happy and content. You have peace. You don't want drama. You don't want chaos. So, enough rambling. Let's go back to the article. The fruit of the Ruach is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, trustworthiness, gentleness, and self-control. That's what Yahusha is training us in. When bringing these behaviours into one's life, the scripture tells us there is no law against these behaviours. There's no Ruach. There's no law against these behaviours. If you can actually do these 9 fruits, there's no law on this earth. There's nothing against you. Nothing. No one can catch you out. You'll be blameless. Your standard will be so much higher than theirs. This means you will win against the enemy in every situation by understanding how to behave these fruits. Do you want to win against the enemy in your day? Win against the enemy in your day? Or didn't you even know there was an enemy? Do you get up every morning facing that there's an enemy that wants to destroy you? Do you get up every morning and put your armour on? The minute your eyes, not even your eyes, the minute your brain flickers, the minute your brain boots on, switches on and reboots of a morning, there's spirits there to torment you, pester you, whisper hideous things in your ears. Oh, I don't want to get out of bed. Oh, this day's, I bet such and such is going to, there's always this pestering and BS and rubbish going on in your ear. And you don't have to have it, because it's them pestering you. You put your armour on, Yahusha's armour, you put it on. And you face that there's going to be a battle every single day. If you're not facing that there's even a battle, then you're asleep. You're delusional. And you'll be angry at everything that interferes with your mind, everything that, doesn't go right in a day. Your day's not supposed to go right. You're supposed to be listening to Yahusha and waiting for things to come, and you're excited. And the scripture says, don't be surprised by the hate, by the persecution, by the anger, by the fiery trials that you must endure. Don't be surprised. It's not because of you. It's not because of me. It's because of him. Look what they did to him. Look how they felt about him, particularly the religious people. Look how they felt about him. There's going to be an attack on you every single day. And if you don't face it, you're just going to be depressed and faint all the time. So, do you want to win against the enemy? Learning how to do these 9 fruits is how to do it. Understanding how to behave these fruits. Truly, the whole Torah teaches us about our behaviour. The whole Torah teaches us about our behaviour. Why won't anybody tell the people this out there? Why won't anybody tell them that this book is all about behaviour? Worship is behaviour. 24/7. Your behaviour is your worship. You don't have to go to an assembly. You don't have to throw your hands up in the air and sing at the top of your lungs and jump up and down like an idiot. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You don't have to go to an assembly. You don't have to do any of that religious stuff. Your worship unto him is your behaviour. Your obedient behaviour to this. To your covenant, to your marriage covenant, the 10 commandments. How are you going to behave them? And this whole book, this is why the Behaviour Revolution was birthed. This whole book can be summarised into 3 simple rules. And remind me, because I'm going to go into it later. Let's go back to the article. Truly, the whole Torah teaches us about our behaviour, if that's what you want. But many are playing a religious game, a religious behaviour, trying to choke the truth of Torah with lies. Trying to choke the truth of Torah with lies. That's what religion is. Choking the truth of Torah with lies. And lies are bad behaviour. That's why nobody wants to know about religion. That's why everybody who assumes that you have some kind of belief system, belief in a creator or belief in the scriptures, that's why they automatically think that you're a religious crackpot. Because that's what religion is. Crazy. It's wicked. It's evil. Because of everything that religion has done. The wars, the pedophilia, all the stuff that's gone on in religion has totally destroyed any kind of reputation and credibility of this book. But I don't care. We don't care. We still go on. We still believe it. And we put out a different behaviour. And we try and let our love, our behaviour, catch people. Yahusha does it though. We don't have to do it. Yahusha does it. These statements, the statements we're making here, bring us into what Yahusha said in Matthew 13 about what type of soil the seed lands in, meaning the hearts, because the soil is the hearts. Remember the sower? The farmer went out and sowed seed. He just took seed and spread it out everywhere. Some of it went on the rocky ground. Some of it went among the thorns. Some of it went in the good soil. There's all these types of soil. The soil is our heart. And the seed is the word. The seed is his love. The seed is his word. The seed is him. And how we receive him. And how we behave him. How we walk with him. So, Yahusha talked about this in Matthew 13, about what type of seed, what type of soil the seed lands in. Some of the seed fell by the wayside, and the birds ate it. Remember that? The seed fell on the wayside, and the birds just came straight along and ate it. The birds represent unclean spirits. So sometimes we get the word, we receive it, but the birds just come straight along and take it. Just pestered, lies, oh, that's blah, 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 and they take the word straight away, and we go back to sleep. Other seed fell on the rocky places and sprang up quickly, but died because there was no root. Some people get really gung-ho, hallelujah, and they go full on for this, and then they just get sick of it and fall asleep. There's no root. The seed cannot take root because it's all rocky underneath. And then other seed fell among the thorns, which choked them. And the thorns represent the cares of this life, pleasures of this life, distractions, things that happen in the world. Some of us go gung-ho for years, and then we just get tired. We get tired of the persecution. We get tired of being different. We get tired of being religious. But you don't have to be. You don't have to be religious. And so we just go back into the world and fall asleep. We get choked by everything that's happening around us, the thorns. And other seed fell on good soil. And when this happened, it yielded a good crop. So the seed went into good soil, and it was watered by the washing of the water of the word, and the seed took root in our heart. And so nothing can uproot the plant. Nothing can uproot our fruit. All right? That's how I feel. I mean, nothing can, this is it. Rather be dead. Look at the world. Look what's happening out in the world. Wars, famines, earthquakes, suicides. There's mass murders and mass terrorists and people blowing up and, slaughtering people with machine guns, everything. All day, every day, there's a new one. It wasn't like this when I was growing up, and I'm only 40. So it's escalating. We're in the last days, brothers and sisters. Yahusha said, if you want to know what happens right before I come back, just take a look in Matthew 24. So take a look when you get a chance, brothers and sisters, and have a look at everything that's happening. It's all happening. Everything in the world is happening as he said it would happen. Everything in this book, didn't you know? Everything in this book comes true. It's truth. And it's all happening. We're living in the last days, the period of the last days. So, verse 24 to 30 in Matthew 13 is another parable about the sower of the seed. So we're going into the sower of the seed again. About the sower of the seed and how the enemy sowed darnel among the wheat during the night while men slept. The men were upset and asked should they pull up the darnel, but they were told not to, but to wait till the harvest, so as to not disturb the wheat. There are many things being said in this chapter, all of which are mainly instruction on how to behave. On this journey, it is good to understand exactly what darnel really is. So a farmer planted a field of wheat, sowed his seed, it was all wheat. As it started to grow up, they discovered that a thief, an enemy, had sown darnel, which is weeds, in amongst the wheat. So the servant said, should we go and pull out the darnel? And he said, no, just wait till the harvest and you'll be able to tell the difference. And obviously the difference is behaviour. Yeah? So let's have a look at what darnel is, because those of us who believe in the wheat and the tares, the wheat and the darnel, those of us who believe this, believe that we are part of the bride, the wheat, have to understand our place in the world. Where are we? What are we doing? What is our purpose? Particularly if you've severed all ties with any religious affiliation, you just float around for a little bit after a while and just sort of think, what am I called for again? And eventually you realise. So I'm going to go into this and let's understand what darnel is. We're just looking at Wikipedia here, just in the English language. Darnel is known as darnel poison darnel. Darnel ryegrass or cockle is an annual plant that forms part of the Poaceae family and part of the Lolium genus. The plant stem can grow up to 1 metre tall, with inflorescence in the ears and purple green. It has a global distribution. Darnel usually grows in the same production zones as wheat and was a serious weed of cultivation until modern sorting machinery enabled darnel seeds to be separated efficiently from seed wheat. Darnel is referred to as false wheat Remember, everything about this video, about this article, about these scriptures, about everything is behaviour. So as I'm talking here, think behaviour. Darnel is referred to as false wheat. It bears close resemblance to wheat until the ear appears. Maybe that's until the time that behaviour is supposed to have grown and shown. Darnel can be infected. The French word for darnel is ivraie, which expresses the drunken nausea from eating the infected plant, which can be fatal. So if you eat darnel, drunken nausea from eating the infected plant, which can be fatal. The ancient Greek botanist stated that wheat can transform into darnel. Wheat can transform into darnel. So we believe that wheat is repentant, immersed believers in the name of Yahusha. He only has one name. Yahusha HaMashiach. You've been immersed in his name. You are walking on his, you're in the Torah zone. You're walking in his word. You're listening to his voice, being obedient. That's the wheat. What does it say here? Wheat can transform into darnel. How many people have you seen walk away from Yahusha for whatever reason, whatever excuse they might express? How many people have you seen walk away from Yahusha? Well, I can tell you over the years there's been about 20 to 30 believers up here on the tablelands, and now there's 3 of us. There's been a few new immersed believers the last couple of years down in Cairns, but those of us who were here all along have gone from about a couple of dozen to 3. So wheat can become darnel. And that's basically the Wikipedia understanding of what darnel is. Darnel, wheat can transform into darnel, and darnel lets off a poisonous gas to intoxicate the wheat. So you've got to be aware of where you are placed, brothers and sisters. Here, let's go back to the article. Here, we can see the difference between the wheat and the darnel. It is interesting to note the French word for darnel means intoxicated, which expresses the drunken nausea from eating the infected plant, which can be fatal. It also means drunk. We use that word a lot in reference to, Scripture uses that word a lot too. Drunk on the wine of her whoring, drunk on the intoxicating of her teachings, drunk on the witchcraft, sorcery, drunk on all these drunk. You're asleep. The whole world is asleep, brothers and sisters. The whole world is drunk. Religion is drunk. Religion is asleep. Everybody's asleep and miserable. Asleep meaning spiritually asleep, not aware of what's going on. Oh yes, they can get up in the morning, have a shower, have breakfast, go to work, put on a face and act a certain behaviour, pick up the kids from school, go and do dinner, do a daily routine. But inside, they're asleep. They're dead. They're not spiritually alive. The flame has not been lit. Their inner being has not been enlightened with Yahusha's spirit. So they are asleep. They do not know how to behave, and they are just tossing and turning on every thought and every encounter. That's what I'm discovering talking to different clients and having different relationships with people lately. People are controlled and people are asleep, and they are literally victims of their own thoughts. Until you tell them, you don't have to be a victim to whatever you hear in your head. Just because you hear something doesn't mean it's you. You can say no, you can ignore it, you can go on. The thoughts don't stop, but you can ignore them. And if you want the power to overcome them, then you need Yahusha to do that. And then you really have the power, because unclean spirits hate the name of Yahusha. They are scared, petrified of his name, and they flee. So all you have to say is, no, you're not me, you're not the I, I'm not having that, I'm not listening, I don't feel like that, no, I don't feel like that. That's you, get lost. I'm going on, doing the right thing. So, Darnell also means drunk. So we're looking at behaviours here, remember? Another interesting point is in the literary references where the ancient Greek botanist said that wheat can transform into darnel. What about that? Since fields sown of wheat are often darnel when reaped. So wheat can transform into darnel since fields sown of wheat are often darnel when reaped. Above there is there's more information worth gleaning. We can see from the quoted scriptures that the darnel is planted amongst the wheat and is poisonous, letting off a noxious gas that can suffocate the wheat. So there are people in our midst that have darnel behaviour. They might be those closest to you. They might be those you love the most. They might be those in your assembly, if you can still be bothered being in one. They might be just friends, clients, children, your own family. You've got to check everything, brothers and sisters, and be discerning. Know yourself and be aware. Face everything you see. Because unclean spirits can flow through anybody to get you every day. And you've got to be aware of it. Be aware of the darnel. We understand from the parable of the 10 maidens that 5 were wise and 5 were foolish. And they too were banded together until the separation. It's interesting, isn't it? As in the wheat and the tares at harvest time. Obviously the snake in the field is the darnel trying to strangle the wheat from bearing fruit. The snake hates you, brothers and sisters. The snake hates you. He's got hordes of messengers coming at you all day, every day, to let you know how much he hates you. Because you are created in the image of Yahusha himself. Male and female created in the image of Yahusha himself. So, unclean spirits, even Shaitan, doesn't have a body. They're the most wicked, evil, perverse, depraved creatures. But they can't express any of it because they don't even have a body. And that really gets them riled up. And the only way they can express their wickedness, express their perversity, is by whispering in our ears, tempting us, and getting us to act out and live out what they say. And they cause arguments, they cause trouble, they cause conflict, they cause separation, they cause all sorts of things in one another. Doing it, you said this and I said this, and you said that, yelling, they cause all this stuff, and then they just walk away laughing their heads off. They've just had the time of their life, knowing that we are so stupid that we don't even know they exist. That is their biggest turn on, brothers and sisters. That's what turns them on so much. The fact that we don't know that they exist. And we think it's us. I heard the thought, so it must be me. So face that they hate you, and face that you don't have to listen to them. Because Yahusha's thoughts, what are Yahusha's thoughts? What does he tell us in here? As many as the grains of sand on the seashore, words of life, uplifting and true, to give us hope and peace and a future. Those are his thoughts. As many as the grains of sand on the seashore. Why can't we hear them? Where is he? Why can't we hear as many of thoughts he has to us are as many as the grains of sand on the seashore? Why can't we hear them? What are we tuned into? What are we distracted by? What glistening, shiny objects are we distracted by in the world instead of hearing his voice, dialing down the noise so we can hear his voice? Because his word's true. So if we can't hear all these thoughts that he's sending us, it's not him. We're not tuning in, dialing in the radio to the right station. We're listening to all the gossip. We're busybodies. We're listening to everything that's going on around us. We're too interested in all that instead of quietening, bringing our flesh into submission and being quiet so we can hear his voice. Because he loves us so much. That's what the parable of the prodigal son was all about. how much he loves us. The father was waiting for his son to come home and fell on his neck and kissed him. And the son had all sorts of excuses and apologies, and the father did not even care. He was just happy to have his son home. That's the love of the Father towards us, that intoxicating love towards us. That's what we need to live with, brothers and sisters, because if we don't feel his love, then what are we walking in this for? Because that's all I ever wanted in this from him for the last years and years. That's all I was hungry for, this intoxicating love that he offers. You can't find that from any other person. You can only get it through him. So, the snake in the field is the darnel trying to strangle the wheat from bearing fruit. As we know, the wheat is humble. The wheat is humble. That's the behaviour. The wheat is humble and bows to the master's will in its behaviour. Behaving the fruits of righteousness. Remember the fruits of righteousness? The 9 fruits at the top: love, joy, peace, patience, all those. Behaving these fruits of righteousness is the thing religion overlooks. We don't need to do that. It overlooks that today, as does the world. Or could we say they are trying to choke and poison the truth by darnelizing it? Darnelizing it. More like bastardizing it. Darnelizing everything. That's what religion does. That's what the world is doing. Trying to choke the love out of your day. Trying to choke the joy, the peace, the patience out of your day. But getting back to the point, true deliverance is through behaving the fruits of righteousness. True deliverance. You can be delivered, brothers and sisters, of everything. It comes from behaving the fruits of righteousness by dropping all religious and worldly behaviour. Drop all the religious and worldly behaviour, brothers and sisters. Drop it. It's useless. Why would Yahusha plant us in amongst the wickedness and deception, as in the darnel? Why would he put us there? The same as why he sent us out as sheep among the wolves. He sends us out as sheep amongst wolves. Do you face that you are being sent out every day amongst wolves? Do you face that you are a sober person being sent out into the insanity, being sent out into the zombie pit, into the walking dead? If somebody does not have Yahusha's spirit in their heart, they are insane. Does that mean you don't love them? No. But you need to face that, because if you don't, the darnel can choke the wheat. And do you want to become, because wheat can become darnel, do you want to become like the darnel? Because that's what that intoxicating, if you listen to them and be infected and influenced by them, you can become like them and slide back into the world. What happens when the zombie bites you on the neck or on the arm? You become one of them. So do you face that you are a sheep being sent out among wolves, ravenous wolves that want to rip you to shreds if you say boo, if you look sideways, or if you have just too much fun? Do you face that everybody's insane? Brothers and sisters, if you don't, then you're being deceived. And the sad thing is, but important thing to face, is that you can't do a thing about it. You can't talk them out of their insanity. You can't change their mind about it. You can't grab them and shake them and, I'll pray it, and I'll bind it, and I'll cast it out of you, spirit. No, you can't do any of that religious rubbish. You can only love, understand, be concerned, compassionate, be nice, pleasant, gentle, kind to people, and hope that Yahusha wakes them up, and be ready if he does. Be ready with the word. Be ready. He says, I'll give you the words to say. You don't have to rehearse. You don't have to do all that religious rubbish. So, why does Yahusha plant us in amongst wickedness? The same reason he sends us out as sheep amongst wolves. Our behaviour is the power that overcomes all obstacles. Our behaviour is the power that overcomes all obstacles. Do you like that again? Our behaviour is the power that overcomes all obstacles. Nothing else, just our behaviour. So here we are planted amongst the darnel. We seem to the secular and religious as just another cult with an agenda. That's what people think. Just another cult with an agenda. If you realise this, that our behaviour has no law against it, you can come in and out from amongst the tares. You can come in and out from amongst the darnel. In and out. You can walk amongst the zombies and they can't get you. They can't bite you. Because even when they think they have, or even if there's conflict, or even if there's drama, if you listen to his voice, if you are humble, if you are willing to say, oh, sorry, I have a laugh, yeah, sorry about that, and, you know, in a situation where you have to say sorry, and the other person thinks they've won, they've lifted themselves up above you, and you just walk away, you're free. You're walking in amongst zombies all day, every day, and your behaviour will determine whether you get bit or not. You're walking amongst wolves. You're walking amongst darnel all day, every day. Do you want the darnel to breathe their poison at you? So if you realise this, that there's no law against our behaviour, there's no law against the fruit of the Spirit, fruit of the Ruach. If you realise this, you can come in and out, walk in and out amongst the tares, being used to spread the truth. Being used to spread the truth. That's why you're on this earth. That's why you have been awakened. That's why you have been unplugged from the matrix. Another analogy, Mark? Yes, that's why you have been unplugged from the delusion. That's why you're sober. That's why you're awake. That's why you're a wheat. So that you can spread the truth, bearing different amounts of fruit, seeing those snapped up for the kingdom. Because that's what you're trying to do. Because there's fire coming. There is fire coming. You've all heard the story of Noah's Ark. You all went to Sunday school, didn't you? You all know the story, particularly if you read it, the real version. Noah's Ark, and how Yahusha didn't destroy the earth, but he wiped out every single person from the earth, except one family. He did it with water. Well, very soon he's going to do it with fire. Remember on the great and awesome day of Yahuwah, when the sun goes dark and is just glowing red, and the moon is glowing red. And then when he lights it again, it's just going to scorch the whole earth. The whole earth will be scorched and transformed and cleansed of all its wickedness. He's had enough. That's what you see out in the world. That's what you see on the news every night. Yahusha has had enough. He won't be mocked. Mankind is living the way they see fit, in his face, doing what they think, denying him, promoting evolution, promoting all this stuff. You know, he's had enough of it. He's just allowing the world to destroy itself. He doesn't really have to destroy it himself until he comes with fire. The earth is destroying itself and he's allowing it. It's his wrath. The vials and the trumpets and the bowls of wrath are being opened up, like it says in the book of Revelation, onto the earth. It's happening every day. Nobody knows. Nobody cares. Do you? Are you a watchman? Are you a branch? A Nazarene? That's what we're watching, the state of the world, what's happening. We're watching for Yahusha's return, watching the state of the world, watching the plagues happening, watching devastations and calamity happen all around us. But if you are obedient, if you are walking, if you are listening to his voice and trusting in him, none of the plagues will come near your house. None of the catastrophes, the calamities, none of the sicknesses, none of the diseases will touch you. Not a hair on your head will be harmed, will be singed. You will be protected because you are living in a protective bubble, and it's called Tura Zone, living in the Tura Zone. And if you step out of the Tura Zone, whoo, you feel it. things start to go wrong in your business, in your home, in your life. Everything starts to go wrong until you run back to the path. So, always remember, brothers and sisters, that many of those who were called have been turned into darnel. That's a really sad thing to face, but it's very important that you do. Many of those who were called, many of those who we still love, but they've left. They've let their love grow cold. They've been turned back into darnel. We know this by their behaviour. The sad thing is that they will not realise this before it's too late and the door is shut, even to the knocking on the door. Beware of that strangling snake amongst the wheat, which wants to get us in an intoxicated state. He wants to intoxicate us, brothers and sisters, so that we fall back to sleep. He wants us to get into an intoxicating state, suffering bad behaviour, which is misery. So, can you have compassion when you see people? Can you have compassion on the zombies, on the insanity in your day? It's one thing to face it, but then after a while you've got to get to the place where you're not angry at it, you're not judging it, you're not angry at it. You've got to get to the place where you can actually feel sorry for another person. Because don't you remember how you felt when you were back in that state? When you couldn't sleep? When you felt pestered and controlled by evil? When you couldn't sleep properly because you felt the heaviness and the weight of all your perverseness that you were into? And all the things you'd said and been and done to other people? You remember what it was like to be back in the world or even back in religion? Asleep? Dead, miserable. That's the state of everybody out there. And Yahusha wants our behaviour to be shining, so that when he's ready, he can trust us to help another individual. And this is individually, brothers and sisters. He wants to work with you individually. So don't go bothering to try and gather together and do some religious, churchy scene thing. That's all religious and it's rubbish. It's not how Yahusha operates. Yahusha operates individually, one-on-one, because he wants your attention and he wants to be the centre of your attention all the time. And he will, slowly but surely, separate you from everyone and everything to get your attention. Yeah? And it's wonderful to have his attention. So, that's the article, brothers and sisters, about the wheat and the darnel. We are hidden. Remember, the wheat is hidden amongst the wheat is hidden amongst the darnel, and the darnel was sown in amongst the wheat. But we are hidden amongst the darnel, the crazy religious people, in amongst the world, in amongst religion. We're walking in there. We're working every day in the world. We're doing all these things in the world, and people probably think we are the same as them. But if they get to know us, they'll soon realise we're nothing like the world. We can go into the world and use our professionalism and use our skill and our trade and our professionalism to make a living and to be professional and love people and be successful. But we don't feel like they feel, because our wick has been lit. The lamp inside us has been lit with Yahusha's Ruach, guiding us and teaching us. So, brothers and sisters, I hope this has helped you. It's really, I found it so amazing, because that bastard darnel is always there. But can you get to the place where you enjoy it, where you enjoy the insanity? That's what I wanted to tell you. The 3 rules. The 3 rules. These scriptures are summarised into 3 rules. Don't take anything personally. How can you take anything that those zombies do and say, the darnel, how could you take it personally? If you take it personally, if you get angry at them, if you judge them, you start behaving just like them. And it's stupid. You become just like them. And you feel it. You feel dead. You feel empty. You feel his hand on the back of your head saying, wake up. Come on. You don't need to do this. You know? So that's the rule number 1. Rule number 2 is let everybody have it. They're all insane. Let them have their mind. Let them have what they want to have. Do what they want to do. Be what they want to be. Treat you however they want to treat you. You've got your lifeline. You've got your anchor. You've got your direct access to Yahusha. What do you need them to? What do you need people to be nice to you for? It's nice. Of course, it's lovely when people treat you nicely. But how often does that happen? So don't expect it. Don't be wanting it. Don't be wanting anything from anybody. That's the best place to get to. All you want is him. You would rather give people things and not be wanting stuff in return. That's the place to get to. And the third rule is don't make excuses. Don't tell lies. Don't make excuses. Let your yes be yes. Let your no be no. And be truthful in all your dealings. If you live those through 3 rules, you will, if you start practicing them and perfecting them, you'll be happy. What's the secret to happiness? Correct behaviour. What's the secret to having joy in your day? To be able to enjoy your job, enjoy the people around you, enjoy your family, enjoy all those people. It's not because they change. It's not because they start treating you better. It's because you have learnt to master yourself, to control yourself. And you don't want anything from them. You don't expect them to treat you nicely. You don't expect anything from anybody. In fact, if somebody does, you fall over backwards. So, I hope this has helped you, brothers and sisters. This recording is made for Yahusha's bride because she's scattered out in the world. She's incognito, remember? She's hiding amongst the wheat. She's not out there with a banner and a flag declaring who she is so the dragon can get her. She's not. She's hidden. We're all hidden. We're all alone. We're all isolated. And so if you are not quite understanding the concept of being alone and you're feeling a bit down or depressed or not understanding this, that's what these videos are for. So you understand you're not alone. Yahusha is guiding you. So keep walking forward, brothers and sisters. If you faint, get straight back up, dust yourself off, and start all over again. Every day is a new beginning. I love you, brothers and sisters. Stay strong. Have a wonderful Shabbat. And don't do anything. You are given full permission to do nothing. Yeah. All right. Rest up. Love you. And we'll be in touch with more videos. See you later.